Welcome to the Keep Dreaming podcast, the show where adversity meets purpose and purpose gives birth to your destiny, but more importantly, your dreams. I'm your host, Charleston Girley, so grab your coffee and let's dive in. Yo, welcome back to the Keep Dreaming podcast. I'm excited for you all to be with me on episode 7, so we are slowly but surely moving through this season, and I'm confident that if you stick with me, you'll be able to make your dreams become a reality by the end of this season. And so I just want to tell you something on today. And it's simply that if you show me your circle, I'll show you your future. Who you walk with determines how far that you will go in this thing that we call life. And if your circle isn't challenging you, they might be holding you back. And that's what we are talking about on today's episode 7, where we are talking about dream circles. And so as always, we start our moment with a coffee of the day segment, and not necessarily describing what coffee that I'm drinking on today, but I want to talk about the mindset with coffee. So normally when you think about coffee, not everybody, but for most people, how a good cup of coffee often brings people together. That's what sparks conversation, it sparks collaborations, and it's simply just over a cup of coffee. And so I kind of want to use that as we jump into today's episode and just kind of seeing how a cup of coffee, a dream, a vision can bring people together in order to make it happen. And so if you got your cup, whatever it is that you're drinking on, let's cheers. And let's jump into today's episode. So welcome back to the Keep Dreaming podcast. I'm your host, Charleston Girley. And today's episode, as I said, is called Dream Circles. Why the right people can take you further than you ever imagined. The dream that you have, the vision that you have, it is in your head. But because it's so massive, because it's so big, we talked about how we need God. But God will also provide people in our lives that will help us to make this dream, make this vision a reality. And so before we dive in, I just kind of want to give you an example in my life, as I normally do, of a dream or a time period where I needed a circle. And so anytime I'm thinking about my circle, I compare my circle to an all-star team. And if you know anything about the NBA, they have an all-star game typically around February. And in that all-star game, they have 2 teams. Now, these 2 teams are comprised of the best players in the NBA. Players such as LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, they have the best of the best on these teams. And that's what I think about in my life when I'm networking and I'm trying to add people to my team. I want the best of the best. I want the all-star team. And so there was a time in my life, in my real estate journey, where I had done flips, I had rental properties, all of these different things, but I had never built a house from the ground up. Now, I knew that I had no experience, but I knew that this was something that I wanted to do to add another element to my business, to add another element to my experience. I wanted to build a house from the ground up. So I had to take a step back and I had to ask myself, who do I need on my team to make this dream a reality? And so when I sat there, I saw that I needed an agent. I needed a real estate agent, somebody who could find me a piece of land, affordable piece of land in a good location. And so I came across my agent, JC Cox. Now, when I was looking for an agent, I didn't want to just find anybody. There are tons of agents out there, but I wanted somebody who was great at what they did, somebody who had experience, who had wisdom. And so that was my agent. The next, I needed a contractor. I needed somebody who had experience building properties, who could do it at an affordable price and who could do it quickly, because in real estate, time is of the essence. And so I spent some time asking for references, and then I came across my great contractor, Dan Friedman. And so I had an agent, I had a contractor. Now I needed a lender. I needed somebody who would be able to lend to me based on just a relationship that we had, because the way that I was doing deals during that time was no money down. So I needed somebody who believed enough in me to allow me to finance this deal without putting any money down. And so I was able to find a lender. And so now I had an agent, had a contractor, and I had a lender. And then we got started. And in about 3 months, I went from not having no newly constructed homes to having 2, not just 1, but 2. God blessed us in that opportunity to be able to find a piece of land that could take 2 houses. And so we built 2 from the ground up. But I could never have made that dream possible. I never could have made that vision come into reality if I had not surrounded myself by the right people, creating my all-star team. And so that's what we're going to be talking about on today. And so the very first segment that I want us to jump into is going to be why relationships matter. Your network is your net worth. Sometimes we think about the assets in our portfolio, such as how many rental properties do we have? What is our stock account looking like? But I beg to differ that those things are valuable, but the most valuable are the people that are in your contact. Who can you call on that has a powerful position? Who can you call on that has wisdom, that has knowledge on whatever it is that you're trying to do? So it's not always just about financially, but who are your spiritual contacts? Who are people that can help you from an emotional standpoint? Who can help you to where it's mutually beneficial? You see, when I think about building my all-star team, not only was I trying to find people that could help benefit me, but I made sure that I could benefit them. When I had my agent, I was recommending him to other investors. My contractor, I was recommending him to other projects. My lender, I was recommending him to other deals and things like that. Because in the relationships that you cultivate, you want to make sure not only that you're receiving the benefit, but that you are giving a benefit back. Proverbs 27, verse 17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. It's going to be the people that you cultivate, that you bring into your circle that can help strengthen you, help strengthen your skill set, your weak areas. Yes, you may be strong in one aspect. I'm strong in analyzing deals from any financial aspect, but there are weaker areas that I possess. I don't know how to build a construction property from the ground up. Now I do because I have experience, but at that time I didn't. And so I needed people that could help bring up the weaker areas, and that created a powerhouse, more of an all-star team that I'm talking about. So segment two, what are the types of people that every dreamer needs? So we talked about creating an all-star team. And so I want to give you a couple people that you can add to your team on today that can help benefit your dream. Number one, you're going to need mentors. You're going to need people that who have already gone ahead of you that can guide you from wisdom, discernment, and knowledge and help you get on a fast track to the dreams that you're trying to accomplish. There's a Chinese proverb that I like, and it says, to know the road ahead, ask those who have traveled it before. You don't know exactly where you're going. You have an idea, you know what the destination is, but there may be some roadblocks, and your mentor can help you to avoid them. That's how we fast track and get to the dreams quicker, because we have allowed ourselves to meet somebody, to have somebody that can help us to watch out for those traps, those setbacks, so that we don't have to experience them. The second is that you're going to need peers. You're going to need people beside you running the same race. Too many times in this world, we are afraid to run beside people. We think that they may take our dream, they may steal our idea. But I want to tell you something on today. God made this world plentiful through Him. Now, again, all of this has to be through Him. But if you're doing it through Him, you don't have to worry about somebody stealing your idea, somebody stealing your dream. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. So if you have somebody running the same race, run with them. They can provide confidence, they can provide energy. Don't be afraid to run the race beside people. Now, you still have to have discernment, but too many times we try to hoard information and try to do it ourselves instead of allowing ourselves to run next to people to build up confidence, to build up traction. So we need mentors, we need peers, we need mentees. Mentees are going to be the people behind you. And these are the people that are going to continue to hold you accountable, those people that are believing in you. Whenever I'm out accomplishing my dreams, I know that there are people looking up to me, people in my hood, people that I grew up with, people that are looking up to me because they know that I'm on to something great. And those people are pushing me whether they know it or not, because I know I can't let them down. I'm not trying to let myself down, but I'm for sure not trying to let them down, because I know that they are believing in me. And so the mentees, they kind of help give you that extra push, the followers, the people that are tuned in to the vision and the dream that you have. So never write them off. Those are the people that can provide an extra set of motivation. And then the last that you need in your circle is going to be your cheerleaders. Who are the people that are supporting you when you're at your lowest? Who are the people that are supporting you when they're not looking for a benefit? They're not looking for a handout. They are simply in your corner, simply on your team, supporting you from a distance, supporting you from up close. When I think about my cheerleaders, I think about my mom, my dad, my brothers, my aunts, my friends. These are people that are believing so much in me, and they are cheering me on, and I need them in my circle. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9 through 10 says, two are better than one. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. You need people that are going to be able to pull you along when you don't feel like it, be able to pick you up when you fall. This is not a smooth path that we're taking. There will be bumps, there will be setbacks, there will be disappointments. And you need that circle that can help pull you when you can't feel it, that will help energize you when you feel drained, that will cheer you up when you feel down. And that is going to be the way that you can make it to the next level, make it to the vision, the mountain, the dream, the goal, the finish line, all of those different things. And so then we move into a segment where we're talking about networking. We're talking about the power of networking, being able to get out and collect contacts. That's all networking is. Who can I add to my phone? Who powerful that I can bring into my life that can help build real connections with, that can help make this possible, that can help me understand this. And the right conversation at the right time can change the trajectory of your dream. Most of the time, your dream is stagnant because you can't find the right people. You can't connect the dots. And having the right person in your life, making those connections, it starts to connect the dots. And now you start to see the dream coming into fruition. And so, how do we go about networking? Well, number one, show up where the dreamers gather. You got to be where they are. When I think about the time that I was able to finance an 11-unit apartment complex, I met a guy, the banker that I mentioned, in the gym at 5 a.m. That's where I was at. I read a book that talked about how most entrepreneurs, most successful people are working out in the gym between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning. And so I said, I need to be there. And I started going. Now, I met him maybe 2 months before that deal even happened. And so it's so interesting how God will place different people in your life before the time is right. But he placed them in my life and I got to know him. I got to understand what bank he worked at, how he got to where he was, and we built a relationship. So now when the time came for me to ask him, could he finance the deal? He already knew me because I was where the dreamers gather. And so the next thing is that you got to be curious. Get out of your comfort zone. I know a lot of us are introverts, but when you are chasing a dream, you got to be an extrovert. Go out in the world and be an extrovert. Get out of your comfort zone. Get off the porch. And then when you get back home, you can go back to being an introvert. But you will have to get out of your comfort zone, get out of your skin, and you got to be curious as to who these people are. Ask them questions. Ask them about their story. Ask them, where did they fall? How did they get back up? How did they get to where they got to? Get out of your comfort zone and be curious. You got to be able to add value first. We talked about creating mutually beneficial relationships. And so don't just look for what you can get from them, but rather think about what you can give to them. Just think about a very rich person. He's so used to people coming up to him, asking him, asking him. But what about if you were to approach and you said, hey, sir, I'm not here to ask you anything, but I'm actually here to recommend this for you. I'm actually here to do this for you. Now you set yourself apart. And he will look at that relationship and say, man, this is a different aspect, something that I've never received. And then you start to be able to build something exclusive and you set yourself apart from the crowd. So being able to add value first, but in order to add value, you got to know who you are. You got to know what you're good at. When I was thinking about building my team, I knew that I was good at financial literacy. I was good at the financial dynamics. So every time I approached them, I told them where I could help them financially in their business. Now I'm setting myself apart and I'm drawing them in because I'm adding something to them. And then I'm asking, can they help me? The last is that you want to be able to follow up with the relationships. Make sure that you are checking in, not just only when you need something, but seeing how their family is doing, seeing how they are doing, inviting them out for coffee just to build their relationship. Proverbs 18, verse 16 says, a gift opens the way and ushers the giver into the presence of the great. I'm trying to be great. And so sometimes in order to be great, I got to invite people into my circle. I got to bring them in. And sometimes being able to be a giver, offering them things that they may not have never received can open that door. Who, not how. You got to shift your perspective. I remember reading a book and it was called Who, Not How. And I would recommend this book to all dreamers. But it's a book by Dan Sullivan. It's called Who, Not How. And the principle of the book is talking about who. Who can you add to your team? Who can you seek to help you accomplish this? Many times we ask ourselves, how? How can I make $1 million? How can I start this business? How can I create this? But when you ask that question, you individualize it to now you're solely thinking about yourself. And if the dream is so massive, we talked about we can't make this happen, but rather flipping that question and asking who? Who can help me make $1 million? Who can help me to accomplish this? Now you start to take that pressure off of you and you start to place it on other people. And God starts to provide those answers. He starts to provide those different people that can help you to accomplish the dream, the goal, fill this gap, fill this void. So the better question is not how, but who. And so when I think about just all the different times, whether it was me building system, handling design work, all of these different things, when I started to ask the question, who, God starts to place the right people in my life, and suddenly the dream started to become possible. And so as we reflect over this episode, there are 4 principles of dream relationships that I really want us to hone in on. And the first is going to be the principle of alignment. You got to walk with people who share your value. If these people aren't sharing the value, the goal, the vision, the dream that I have, they got to get out the way. If I'm going in this direction, if I'm going right, I don't need a person steering me left. Amos chapter 3, verse 3 says, "Do 2 people walk together unless they have agreed to do so?" We got to be in alignment on this thing, on this vision, on this path that we're going. And too many times we have people that are on this path, people that are on this journey that are in the way. They're steering us in a different direction. So you got to be able to cut and you got to be able to add. Cut, add, simple math. But that's what we got to have when we are talking about trying to be in alignment. The second is that we got to have the principle of accountability. You got to be able to surround yourself with those who will challenge you. Too many people don't want to be challenged. We are afraid that if somebody is challenging our dream, challenging our vision, then we must be in the wrong, and we are afraid of that. But rather, you got to be able to have somebody that's going to poke holes in the dream, poke holes into the vision, because it allows you to cultivate something great. Because out of your perspective, you may not be able to see it, but you got to be willing to have people in your circle that are going to not only hold you accountable, but be able to point different holes that may be in the dream, in the vision that's holding you back. Galatians chapter 6, verse 2 says, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." Sometimes you got to have people that are willing to carry the burdens, and you got to be willing to carry it as well. Number 3, the principle of access. Who has access to you? Who doesn't have access to you? Those are 2 great questions that you're going to have to sit with and discern. Not everyone should have access to you, but the people that are on the outside may need to have access to you. So you're going to have to discern that. Too many times we have people, again, that are in our lives that mean us no good, but they have all of this access to us, and now they are affecting our emotions. They are affecting our mood. We got to remove the access. But there may be some people who may not be sexy to us. They may not be the typical friends, but they are the people that can actually add value. So they may need the access, and then you may need to remove it from other people. So being able to understand who should have access to you and who shouldn't. And then the last is going to be the principle of appreciation. Honor and invest in the relationships that fuel your dreams. What contacts are fueling the dreams? Which ones aren't? Being appreciative of the people that truly are in your circle, that are truly are pouring into you, helping you along the way, because good relationships are hard to come by. So many people are selfish these days. So many people are worried about themselves. And so if you have people that are truly in your life, that are truly helping you, learn to appreciate them, learn to value them, and continue to make their relationship mutually beneficial. And so, as always, we have a homework assignment. I want you to pull back out that journal. By the time we get to the end of the season, you might need a second journal. But I want you to take inventory of your circle this week. I want you to write down who's sharpening you, who's helping you, who's draining you, who's depleting you. And I want you to write down the names of these people. I want you to write down who is pouring into you and who isn't. And then I want you to go by each name and you make a decision. Should they stay or should they go? Because this dream has got to happen. And we said that we are not going to be the killers of our dreams. So if we're not going to be the killers of our dreams, and we know that there are people in our lives that are not helping, they got to go. But then we also need to make sure that we are recognizing the people who are supposed to be there. And so who is pushing you to make that dream bigger? Who is pouring into you, being able to assess? And then we even need to make a list of the people that we may need to add. Do we have a mentor? If we don't, we need to find one. Do we have a therapist? If we don't, we need to find one. Do we have a lender? If we don't, we need to find one. Making sure that we build out this all-star team. And that's what I want you to work on this week, building out your all-star team. When you take a step back and you realize that you are on the horizon of doing something great with your life. You are at the peak to being able to cross over into the promised land. Who are the people that can help propel you over there? Who are the people that you can bring along? But who are the people that got to stay behind? When I think about the Bible and I think about the Israelites and God was taking them to the promised land, everybody couldn't go because everybody didn't believe, everybody wasn't obedient to God. And you're going to have to assess the same in your life. If God is taking you to the promised land, if he's taking you to the dream land, everybody can't go. But you may have to add people along the way, and you might have to subtract people and get them out the way. Your dream is so valuable. Your dream is so special that you are going to have to be responsible for the things that you can control. And then one of the things that you can control is building your dream circle. The dream circle is what helps bring the dream into reality. The who's, not the how's. The help, not the hurt. And so as you take a step back and you reflect over this week, just asking yourself, I know I'm destined to get there. I know I'm going to get there, but who is coming with me? And so I thank y'all for tuning in for episode 7 of the Keep Dreaming podcast. If you feel like this episode really spoke to you, again, I want to encourage you to invite other people to share it. Make sure that you all are subscribing to the podcast, to the YouTube, even going on my social media platform and shouting out your all-star team or tagging me and letting me know just kind of what's going on in your life. Because again, if you're following me on here, I want you to make your dream a reality. And so until next time, keep believing, keep praying, but most importantly, keep dreaming.